How Fatal Frame Still Holds Up in Today's Horror Genre. Written by Jade Seidel and read by Dean Delp. Fatal Frame, or as it's also known, Zero and Project Zero, is a Japanese survival game released in 2001 and was originally for the PS2 and Xbox. There are 5 main games in total and 1 spin-off, but we will be looking at the original trilogy and how it's still a leader in today's horror genre, over 20 years later, boasting a staggering 1.3 million sales to date. Fatal Frame was released in 2001 and was unlike anything anyone had played before, steeped in culture, aesthetic, and suspense. Straight away, the game draws you in with dark, dreary tones and a chilling sound effect. You feel completely immersed and like it's you that's there, and not just playing a game. The main protagonist of the game is Miku Hinasaki. She arrives at the Himuro mansion in search of her missing brother. Something interesting is that the original Fatal Frame was based loosely on a true story. There is an actual place called Himuro Mansion that did perform grisly rituals, but there are no reported ghost sightings. So Miku goes in search of her brother, but instead of finding him, she finds her mother's old camera, which she assumes her brother had taken with him. From there, we are taken on a frightening journey to find her brother. But along the way, we uncover the truth of what happened to Mafuyu Hinasaki, and what truly happened behind closed doors. Fatal Frame 2 was released in 2003, and to cult followers of the series is known as the greatest game, not only in the original trilogy, but the whole franchise. I myself disagree, but it is definitely a change of pace from the first one. Whereas in the original it was based primarily inside the mansion and the grounds, and although you can get lost, it's much easier to navigate than the second game. The premise of this one is that you play as 2 sisters, Mio and Mayu Amakura. They return to their old childhood village to reminisce about the past, but instead of being welcomed into warm memories, a nightmare awaits them. The 2 sisters have to battle an onslaught of evil to uncover the mystery of the gruesome sacrifices that now plague the lost village. Early on, they find the camera obscura, which is a constant in all the games, and have to battle the main antagonist, another unwilling victim of the crazy village. One thing that sticks out to me was the color contrast in this game. Like the original, it has a dark and hopeless tone, but they have also incorporated butterflies throughout the world which help you. In the first game, Miku had a friendly child spirit which helped and guided her. Now, you still have a friendly spirit, but the young man is trapped in a prison. However, he sends the colorful butterflies to help guide you. Fatal Frame 3 was released in 2005 and for the PS2 only. This one happens to be my personal favorite. At one point, I replayed the game numerous times in a row. This one follows Rei Kurosawa, a freelance photographer who had a habit of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. This game takes the original concept and puts its own spin on it. Not only does it tie into the original games, but Miku from the first one is also present, and they introduce the uncle of the sisters from the second game. There's also 2 different worlds where you play in reality and a dream world. There are ghosts in the dream world, but they slowly begin seeping into the real one. Once again, the camera obscura comes into play, but the nice thing about this is that each character has their own camera from each game. Once again, it is a woman scorned by the evilness of rituals, and it all starts when Rei goes into the dream ghost mansion to follow her dead fiancé. Things never go to plan as she follows him. He disappears and suddenly is approached by the main antagonist, a blue tattooed woman. The sounds this woman makes terrify me to this day. Now begins a dark and twisted story and a race against the clock, not only to uncover the truth behind this woman, but to save her friends who are battling their own nightmares. The game is a genuinely scary experience, and if it doesn't tempt you to play, there is also a cat which you can pet. The series has rightly earned its place as one of the most terrifying games to date. With its in-depth folklore, bone-chilling sounds, and clean graphics, which were for the time very impressive, nothing can really come close to matching the scare factor and originality that the game oozed. Fatal Frame was a landmark in horror video games then, now, and will continue for many more years to come.